This is Arc Raiders, and I'm not joking. This has just actually blown me away. So my very first extraction shooter was Marathon. Going from the Marathon Alpha, which I know is in like an early state, and going to this, which again, it's one of the test phases of this game, so it hasn't launched yet. It's obviously a much further along in development. It is like very eye-opening. You can see a lot of the major flaws that are in Marathon, and if the guys have been working on that game for so long, you think they would have been, aware of what the hell is going on in the extraction genre. Now, for me, I'm just like a complete noob. I'm having these organic experiences, and they feel incredible. I mean, a guy killed me in the last game, and then gave me a load of abuse because it was the the proximity chat is in the game. So I'm not going to talk too much about loads of systems and all of that in this game. There's a bunch of stuff. There's crafting, there's challenges, there's quests you can do. There's loads and loads and loads of stuff. There's a battle pass. There's skills and perks for your character. Instead, what I want to focus on is just the raw gameplay, because this is all you really care about when you initially pick these games up. They've got to capture you. I think when we look at Marathon is really struggling to just capture people straight away, because it's like, it's very light on mechanics. It's very light on, well, engagement. And that's probably a big problem when it comes to an extraction shooter. So, like I said, that was my first experience of an extraction shooter. It's not like I'm some guy who's played loads of Tarkov or anything like that. I just haven't. So let's just go through this, and I'm just going to break down what's going on. So what I'm doing here is I'm breaching that container, or like the back of a generator. You notice that took time and it made noise. What this game does really well is it lets you know that there's an enemy player over there somewhere in that area, so you better be careful. That's either through noise. When you kill an enemy player, a flare comes off their corpse. Other people will see this and they'll come towards it. There's things like security cameras. There's car alarms that trigger. This is extremely well designed when it comes to sound. The sound is like, it's such a integral part of this game's design. Like when you're sprinting around, it's loud. If you're doing it indoors, it's loud. If you're running across metal grates, it's loud. People will hear you, people will be attracted towards you, and people will kill you. There's also PvE enemies. You can see there's this kind of like, I'm not entirely sure what the story of the game is, but there's like AI enemies, like AI is, well, obviously AI, but AI is in like nefarious technology which seems to be roaming the surface of the planet, and the humans appear to live in the underground. But like I said, I don't care about any of that. I just care about the gameplay. I care about like what we're looking at, and there's just so much going on. So firstly, the graphics are fine. Performance is okay. You may notice some little jutters here and there, but basically, this is fine. I think it's okay. You can kind of let them off. It's sort of a test phase. That's one of the cameras which I've shut out there, because that will start triggering alarms and all kinds of stuff. So this is breaching another sort of secure loot area, and again, this takes time. I'm vulnerable, but because it's third person, I can actually look around in it. I kind of feel sort of safe. But if you were near this, you would hear it, because it is super loud. And again, if you were familiar with the map, you had the game knowledge, you could come over here and start attacking me, because I'm trying to open like what is perceived as like a pretty good loot container. You'll notice as well, this is solo. I'm playing solo. You can play solo. You can also play in a group as well, but you can play solo, which is really good. Like I said, the sound design is just like ridiculous. The inventory management seems fine as well. Obviously, it's got all of that extraction shooter stuff, you know, where you're waiting for items to show up when you're looting containers to simulate you sort of rummaging through the container. There are upgrades you can get which will speed that up, so you could go down that path, although I started to go down the stamina path just because I wanted to move around a bit quicker. But anyway, we're not going to cover too much of that in this video. So this is the PvE enemy coming towards me, and at first I'm a bit confused. I'm shooting this, and clearly my bullets are bouncing off it, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, this weapon I've got, Kettle, it's like it uses light ammo. Maybe the ammo doesn't actually perforate the armor of that of that NPC. It's not that. You have to wait until it opens, and you'll see in a second. But there is also something I do want to talk about when it comes to the inventory management. You get these safe pockets, and I think that is such an incredible design decision. In fact, I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with extraction shooters, whether this is in other extraction shooters, but like the fact you can see there, my save pocket, I've got 2 items in it. That is because those items will not disappear if I die. You get to keep them. So in essence, you always get something from a run, and you can always look after some item from a run, and I think that's really cool. It makes it feel like it's not a total loss, and I think one of the issues with extraction shooter game design is if it becomes, oh, I've lost everything, and you feel like you're losing stuff all of the time, it's a problem. Also, just the loot itself, again, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of icons, you know, there's loads of materials for the crafting, and You know, I think I crafted myself extra inventory space for this mission before I deployed. Actually, the deployment on this map and the extraction is really cool. So you get a metro train out, which is really cool, which is different to the other map. There's quite a few maps as well, but one of the other maps that I played on, you've just got these big, giant sort of freight elevators that come out of the ground, obviously, and you have to run over to them. So I'm looking at the map there, and then what the map does is it breaks down areas of interest. So if it's red, there's going to be loads of loot in the building. So this is the hospital, and I'm thinking, right, I'm going to go over here, and I'm gonna take part in some action. Now, watch what happens here, right? Because this is where, like, at the start of this, I get it's been kind of slow. You know, this is typical extraction shooter. You can see there's a flare there. So somebody's been killed or something's happened over there. But you see, I just seen a guy jump off there. Now, this is, again, because, like, I'm learning extraction shooters, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to just run out in the open here. I want to hug a building if I can and be quiet. And what I'm doing, I know I'm talking all over this, but I'm listening for footsteps, obviously for gunshots, see if this guy's doing anything. I accidentally ran here. I didn't mean to do that. I was kind of, I really didn't want to do that. Also, with proximity chat, if people are speaking in it, their name comes up on the UI, so you can tell someone's close to you. But this game really does feel like it's PvP more than PvE. I mean, like I said, my only frame of reference is the Marathon Alpha, and that's like, you can go games and you don't even see players. This, you just see players every game. Every game I've played, there's players. So this guy here, I got the jump on him because I was looking out for him. So he's been killed there. A flare goes off. Well, he's been knocked, and I'm going to put him out of his misery, and then I'm going to loot him. Obviously, you're extremely vulnerable when you're looting, and I know that there's a massive gap here in the building, and I'm thinking, uh-oh. Again, I'm not sure what these items do, and I'm waiting for the search to go off. There's gunshots here, right? That sounded like it came from above, right? So again, this is that whole thing of this audio cues, there's visual cues, there's sound cues. I'm worried here. This now is building tension like you would not believe. This sounds great, right? I'm like, that guy's down there. I still haven't fully looted him, but somebody is actually getting involved in a bit of having a bit of a brawl, which sounds directly above me. I don't want to go out there and loot that, so I'm trying to play defensively. And again, like I said, my only other frame of reference is Marathon, and you can't really do this in Marathon because it's like, it's not like this. It doesn't feel like a survival extraction game. It just feels like an arcadey extraction game, which I think is what they're going for. But I feel like that misses the sort of the essence of what these games should be. So yeah, what I'm doing is just using the third-person camera here. I'm trying to look down the corridor. Again, like, look at the sight lines. They're very long. You know, the weapon I've got here is... what did I come in with? I think I've got like a heavy... I've got... I think the Ferro is a heavy ammunition single-shot weapon, I think. But the kettle is obviously like a... I guess like a submachine gun, but it's single fire. Long time to reload, but you can tap fire it really fast, which is quite good in close combat. So yeah, like, I'm waiting. Now this to me is incredible. I mean, even like, look at the design of this area. It looks great. So I'm going to actually push out now, and I'm going to try and get some... see what he's got. Yeah, oh, that's right. I took that off his corpse, and I swapped that out for that weapon, which is, again, it's like a sort of like the basic starter assault rifle. But it's a major advantage to have two weapons because you don't want to be reloading in combat. That assault rifle I just took off that guy, it's a single bullet reload. So you're reloading the bullets, and it takes a long time to reload. So you got to be careful. So yeah, basically you want two weapons, swap to them, and just do, like, you know, as much damage as you can. So remember what's just happened here. Again, I know I'm talking all over this, but I know there's somebody else in this building. I could hear them shooting. They're probably somewhere. So this is forcing me to check all the corners as I'm walking around. This is great. Honestly, this feels really, really good. And you know, you got to remember, I've still got to try and get out of this. I've still got to try and extract. I sprinted down. I shouldn't have done that. And again, I'm looking around, right? I'm thinking, where's the enemy? Where's the other players? I've got to be careful here, right? Do I want to go upstairs? I do. I'm going to be very careful. You do have a flashlight, but again, I'm worried that if I start using my flashlight, maybe somebody would see that. I don't want them to see that, and I'm thinking, nope. And I'm just going to keep moving forward. But again, like I said, this to me, like, I've played, again, I know I keep talking about Marathon, but I've played Marathon for about 15 hours now, I think. And I've never had this experience in Marathon. Yeah, within an hour, I was getting this experience in this game. And to me, that seems like a major design failure from Bungie's point of view. But anyway, this is much longer, further on development. So this guy here, again, I managed to see, this guy's just running around all over the place, right? I caught him, I've killed him, and, well, I've knocked him, I'm going to take him out. It's just basic positioning, right? My positioning was better. He was just running around, so whatever, or she was. And I'm going to loot them, right? And I'm going to get bits and pieces off them and decent loot. But this is 2 people I've killed so far, and I'm feeling like super engaged right now. Now, obviously, I can't really talk about the monetization of this game. I'm not aware of that. I haven't even looked into it, to be fair. I think it's free to play, or it will be free to play, maybe. Although I've seen some people saying it might cost money, I'm not sure. But it's got battle passes in, it's got all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, I don't know. We live in a day and age where games can just, you know, I don't know. We just don't know. I'm not going to comment on it in this video. Like, this is more to do with just the experience of the gameplay and how I was. I am taken aback is a bit over the top, but this is very interesting, right? So I heard somebody, again, I know I've been talking all over this, but I heard movement, and I'm like, somebody is close to me here. I've got to be super careful. And look, I'm hiding. This weapon, I'm not sure what it does, but I did get off that guy's corpse. Watch what happens. Look, that guy comes running out of the lift, and I'm like, oh my God. He doesn't see me, because obviously why would he see me on there? He nearly kills me, though, and I managed to take him out. Again, loads of noise. Flares going off. I've got, like, literally no health. Again, you've got armor. Well, you've got shields and you've got health. In this game, and there's various different consumables, some that give you the shields back fast. Well, shields generally come back fast. I think they fully come back. And health, you can get like syringes that give you health back really quick, bandages that take time, and stuff like that. So yeah, like, I've killed 3 people here, and I'm feeling like, wow, this is intense. I'm like living in the moment here. I'm like, oh my God, this is sick. Like, if I was streaming or whatever and I had my webcam on, or, well, it's not a webcam, it's a fancy DSLR camera, I'll have you know, I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, you'd be seeing reactions of me like, oh my God, this is sick, you know what I mean? This is insane. Great kill. You know, I need to be super careful now. You would feel like you're in the moment, and I feel like this game is really good at that. This is definitely a game which is on my radar now, and I'll be honest, it wasn't a game before that I really cared about. It didn't actually used to be an extraction shooter. It used to be something else, and then they decided to turn it into an extraction shooter. I mean, I think there's a whole debate to be had on whether extraction shooters can actually be AAA games. As good as Embark are as a studio, I don't think they're a AAA game dev. They probably would say they are. I think they're more like a AA, sort of pushing towards wanting to be a AAA. So it's almost, to me, feels like maybe Extraction is something that can only really occupy the sort of AA developer space. Tarkov is definitely not a AAA game, for example. It's an interesting sort of debate to have. But I do think when you look at the very foundations of this game and the game's design, it is fundamentally based around PvP. It's forcing you into PvP interactions through a lot of things that are happening. Like, a fight breaks out, you kill a guy, a flare pops off them. People can see that and they will come towards it. This is making me super worried here because, again, I think I can hear noise. I don't know whether it's people running around or whatever, but I can hear stuff. But I'm also thinking now I need to get out of here. I can't just sit here because I've got, like, what I think is a pretty decent weapon. I don't think I even fire this weapon, to be fair. But I've got, like, a decent weapon. I'm worried that somebody might come from over there. But this is all, to me, that organic gameplay, like, generation you get, or you should be getting, in what is an extraction shooter. Because there should be threat and tension. And that should build as you go through the map. You start off, yeah, you start running around loot. Obviously, it depends on what you take in. If you're taking, like, valuable stuff in and you're looking for a fight straight away, fair enough. But you could see the gameplay loop here. You run in, you're looting some basic mats. You're trying to get to an area that you've selected on the map. Maybe it's this hospital because it's got better loot, or there's other areas with less dense loot. You can see they're all different, color-coded. And then you get to this area, then you start getting involved in PvP, and it's straight away. You know, like, again, not to rag on Marathon, but I could say with Marathon, this gameplay you're watching here has had more PvP than Marathon. Like, and it actually does really sort of, I'll be honest, it does make Marathon feel like it is Apex Legends Extraction in a lot of ways, whereas this doesn't, right? This feels like I'm out here trying to survive. So I'm trying to get to the metro station here. This is the one underneath the hospital where I was. And again, this is worrying. You know, I'm sprinting here. I don't need to be sprinting. I probably should be taking my time. But I'm thinking I just want to get to this train and get out of there. Of course, there could be somebody here, right? Because I think it's reusable, this is, until the timer runs out. On this map, there's various metro stations. You can slide as well, sprint slide. And some of them, they've all got different times when they are no longer usable. So obviously that's going to force players together. Again, probably good game design when it comes to the actual extraction. Again, not to rag on games like Marathon, but the extraction in Marathon compared to the extraction in this is like light years behind. This is a lot more involved. Even if you get knocked down in this game and you're on the floor and you're in the extraction area, you can still interact with the terminal. Like, it's got an animation for it and it's super cool. I'm very impressed by this, guys. I am probably going to play more of this. Again, like I said, I don't know anything about the monetization or anything in depth on the skills or anything like that. I just wanted to give you like a raw sort of impressions of this because I feel like I'm on a like an extraction shooter arc, and I feel literally this is arc. Oh dear. But I just feel like it's sort of broadening my gaming horizons a little bit, and this just seems way better than what Marathon is offering, and that's got to be a worry, right? All right, so this is getting on the train and getting out. So again, you run onto the train, you interact with the terminal. It takes time. While this is happening, somebody could run on the train and shoot me and nick the stuff. You know, loads of stuff could happen. Again, it makes noise. The train's turning up. You can hear it turning up. There's a load of audio. This again is really cool. Look at this, right? So this is actually the path I took. This is super cool, and it shows you what I've done. Again, this is really cool because you can think, okay, I can maybe build a sort of run. If I know I spawn there again, maybe this is an optimal way to go. I mean, it's not because I just was running all over the place. But this, again, is cool. I like stuff like this. It feels like the developers have really thought about it and put care and effort into it. This is a little bit janky here, clicking on this, because a lot happened in that area, and I can't really, like, zoom in, I don't think. I'm trying to click on the icons. I mean, it's just telling me, like, I was shot here by somebody. I've healed myself. I've knocked somebody. I've killed somebody. I've looted all this stuff. It's just cool. It's really cool. Of course, as well, you've got things like character level. You get this where you return back to the underground city. Shows you all the stuff that you've brought out the game, obviously. You get a load of XP. Then you can use this to, like, upgrade your character. But honestly, guys, I think this is really good. I think this is actually really good. I'm very surprised by this. I'm probably going to play more of this. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you soon.